Year, of course, was a big court case for the former royal known as the Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry. And lots of people were really stunned the fact that a royal was in, of course, His Majesty's court. I mean, it did seem really strange, doesn't it? You know, when you think about it, a big show of him turning up every single day. And then, of course, he couldn't quite remember anything at all. A bit of a debacle. Made himself look a real fool, in fact, because what you've got to be, and, you know, more importantly, is prepared once you go to court. But you see, he's not the only royal to actually, well, shall we say, appear in a court of law. This was all started way back during the reign of Queen Victoria. Well, in fact, it started way back in the medieval times. But the very big first royal court case was regarding Queen Victoria's husband, Prince Albert. Let me explain. Hi, good morning. How are you? You all right? Thank you so much. Nice to see you today. Yes, I wanted to share this with you because, again, it just proves how time moves on, but nothing really changes. You know, we often look at things, whether that be silent films, old pictures, and you kind of think, yes, but it would have been different in those days. Everything's different, but it's just the technology that allows us to see things differently. And we're lucky that so many of these things are recorded. You see, way back in 1844, Prince Albert was busy sort of doing his etchings. That's right, etchings in Buckingham Palace. And they were etchings of the Queen, Queen Victoria. In fact, he'd done over 60. And the idea apparently was to have some kind of private exhibition, turn some of them into portraits and then place them up and around Buckingham Palace. Now, what happened was that this particular individual decided he could make some money on them. Just to prove how it's not different, of course, even way back in Queen Victoria's times, a journalist working for a national newspaper, Jasper Thomsett, persuaded a royal aide for the major sum of £5. Now that would be a colossal amount of money in 1844 to give him copies or indeed borrow certain etchings. This reached the ear of Queen Victoria. You can imagine how frightening that must have been. And very quickly, that particular journalist was struck off and fined, and then legal proceedings were issued against that particular newspaper. Naturally, a grovelling apology ensued, vast amounts of money changed hands, and the etchings were returned back to the Queen and Prince Albert. Apparently, they were very racy and slightly indiscreet. Now, they are still on display at the British Museum if you want to see what all the fuss is about. But it's amazing to think, isn't it, when you look at the situation now, say, recently with that ridiculous book and the sort of slurs against the British monarchy and Prince Harry in court, it's the same story. It's just simply moved on. And proof, of course, that even way back in the very straight Victorian-laced era, well, Queen Victoria was having none of it, and rightly so. I'd love to know what you think to this particular story, as ever, in the comments below. Neil Sean in the very heart of Yorkshire.